Vargen ylar i nattens skog. Han vill men kan inte sova. Hungern river hans varga buk. Och det är kallt i hans stova. Du varg, kom inte hit. Ungen min får du aldrig. Du varg, kom inte hit. Ungen min får du aldrig. Vargen ylar i nattens skog. Ylar av hunger och klagan. Men jag ska ge en grisasvans. Sånt passar i varje magar. Du varg, kom inte hit. Ungen min får du aldrig. Du varg, kom inte hit. Ungen min får du aldrig. Vargen ylar i nattens skog. Han vill men kan inte sova. Hungern river hans varga buk. Och det är kallt i hans stova. Du varg, kom inte hit. Ungen min får du aldrig. Du varg, kom inte hit. Ungen min får du aldrig.
That was so peaceful and relaxing.
Yeah. I thought we needed a little bit of shamanism. The wolves are out. The wolves are everywhere, aren't they?
I love their eyes.
Yeah, this is a beautiful time of year, you know, in this part of the world, if you like seeing wildlife. And also they're having their cubs.
Are they?
Yeah.
Summertime, I guess that would make sense. Summertime.
Yeah, you can see a lot of wolf families. So it's kind of
they're just magnificent animals.
They're so beautiful.
Yeah, but they look so wise and intelligent.
Yeah, they definitely have a soul and a spirit, you know.
Very much so.
The number two, if your birth number is a number two, and that's partnership and loyalty and pack energy, that's a
Hmm.
person who often is called by the wolf. And I always hope when I do my shamanic ceremonies that I will be called by the wolf, and I'm never called by the wolf. I'm always called by the deer. I think I've talked to you about that, that my spirit animal is the deer. I'm
Really?
always hoping I'll get a wolf, and every time it's the deer that takes me to Spirit Mountain.
Damn dear.
And I told you that I went to Nair. Is that right? Is that what it's called? Nair in Japan, which is not too far from Osaka. Is that right?
I'm not sure.
And I was so upset because, you know, oh, well, they're just so docile and they just put up with so much crap. And
Hmm.
then I went to the ceremony, and the shaman gave me the name Doe-Eyed One. And I'm like, well,
Oh,
the doe is definitely my destiny. You know, I'm named after the doe.
yeah.
So I just need to go to Nair and make peace with my totem, right? Since I am the deer-eyed one.
Well, it's so interesting because it was just today, flipping through social media, which I do sometimes just to clear my head, oddly enough. Someone had a video where they had a baby bottle and they were feeding a doe. And the doe was so sweet and so gentle and so loving.
Yeah, and I
I was
thought, well,
struck
I
by that.
got to be tough. I got to be cruel. So I went to Nair to feed them, and I was just la la la, and this female came behind me and bit me really hard on the ass. I think I told you about that. And she gave me this look like, "Is that mean enough for you? Now give me the damn cookie." We had oat cakes. They make oat cakes.
Uh-huh.
It's safe for them. It's just an oat cake.
Yes, yes.
So they sell them, and then the deers know how to bow, like, please. All
Oh,
the deers are like this. And I was like, oh, cute. And this mother came up and bit. And now and not only am I the doe-eyed one
deer
in
in the headlights.
in the Dakota Sioux language, I don't know how to even say it, but now I have permanent mark of the deer on my ass. So the lesson here is, don't argue with spirit. If spirit tells you that you have been chosen as a child of the deer, don't argue with us. You're a child of the deer. Well, I don't like the deer. I want to be a wolf. I want to be tough. Listen, lady, is this tough enough for you?
Yeah.
You are the doe-eyed one. So
Oh, yeah.
then I made up with her. I gave her an oat cookie, and she posed with me. And there you have it, two doe-eyed ones.
I'm looking at her eyes, though. She's going, don't F with me, lady.
Yeah, she had just bit me in the ass.
Yes.
And it really hurt. And then I saw that she had broken the skin, and that now I have a tattoo of her.
Yeah,
bite.
you've been marked by the deer.
Yeah, but I was not paying attention to her.
Yes.
And but you know, she hung out with me. I fed her. We worked it out. But she had a message for me, and that is, stop telling me I'm weak. I'm not weak.
Right. Oh, she made her message loud and clear.
But now that I'm seeing her eyes and my eyes, I'm seeing why the shaman named me that. So I'm at peace. I'm at peace with my totem.
Yeah. Have you ever seen, there's a picture that's viral on the internet of this deer, apparently came to this little general store somewhere in Colorado, and the person gave it a cookie. And then the deer came back 30 minutes later with its spouse and children. They were all there at the door, all of them wanting cookies. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, I mean, oat cakes are safe. We had a list of things we could feed them. You know, it's controlled. They had people in yellow. You know, everything is controlled in Tokyo or in Japan. They're very good about that.
Yeah.
So it's not going to hurt them if it's like an oat cake or something like that. Well, guess what's happening? We've got a new member. It looks like Marina Wells has been a member for 5 months.
Well, Marina, thank you. We appreciate you very much.
Marina Wells is a member for 5 months. We welcome you, Marina Wells. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very
See what
much.
Sasha's doing.
I
Sasha
wrote
heard us
that.
talking about the animals and she had to join in for a moment there.
So listen, speaking of animals, lions and tigers and bears, oh
Mhm.
my, have you
my.
gotten the new book of
Oh,
the month
of
from
course
our
I
Book Month
have.
Club?
Yeah.
Now, what you thinking? What you thinking so far about the book?
Well, just a little bit I've read, what you said about it being like conversations with God, which I
Yes,
read
it is.
many
isn't
years
it?
ago. It's got that flavor to it, that essence to it. I guess flavor, is that the right word? But it's very easy to read. It's very engrossing. But I've just glanced through it. I haven't really studied it as thoroughly as I need to by the time we do our interview.
What I like about it is that it makes you uncomfortable in the ways that, she gently encourages you to look at your shadow.
Yeah.
Like on page 85, I don't know if you've gotten to page 85 yet.
I've just skimmed through various parts of the book, which I know it's not
10 ideas for broadening our conscious awareness and broadening our truths. Listen, see and observe, try new ways, try new things, let yourself see things in new ways, allow for new ideas, take time to imagine and create, contemplate, take action, and stay open. And that process alone, the 10 steps she talks about here, is in and of itself really uncomfortable if you're desperately trying to hold on to old hates, old hates. You don't want to let the old self die, because who will I become if I let go of my prejudices or my preconceived ideas about how things need to be?
That seems to be the theme of this current Mercury retrograde.
It's a great book. It's a great book for Mercury.
Oh, it's perfect. It's perfect for that. But I think lots of times when we're feeling uncomfortable during a retrograde, it's because we're in resistance to the very things you just mentioned. And I loved when you said, listen, be open. That in itself can completely transform your life.
And how often are we afraid of doing that because we're like this?
Yeah, exactly. And we're afraid of being vulnerable.
Changed. And if I am changed to, I'm going to have an identity crisis if I change my political views or if I change my view of this person.
Yeah, exactly. We're not going to, maybe it's a subconscious fear. We're not going to recognize ourselves anymore.
Wow.
We become comfortable, even with the uncomfortable.
And I noticed, now, are you wearing your shirt for the show?
I did this by accident. You told me last week I had your full blessing to wear anything I want. But the habit is so ingrained.
And it's very comfortable too.
Well, it is, but I was hurrying to get ready for the show because I was working on other things, including things for you. And I just grabbed this shirt without thinking. And I thought, oh, whoops. Yeah.
I appreciate you wearing it, and make sure to check out all of our merch. It was designed by Debbie Brady, the creative director. She did a great job.
And speaking of which.
Oh, yes. She also did some nice cups. Those are nice. It's a nice way to support our little channel here. Well, Chuck, who's here joining us? Can we turn the camera around and say hi to people?
Let me just set this cup of water down so I don't spill it on the laptop. Okay, let me go back here to the top. We have Terry. We have Intuitive Kathy. We have Dharma Songbird. Love that name. The Sybil, Renee, Kelly, Teresa, Marina, Sheila, Joanne, M. Johnson, Sugar Baby's mama with butterflies. Web Shiva, Intuitive Kathy, Marina Wells, Wendy Bertu made your fabulous hat you were wearing at the beginning of the show, and there's Miss Sasha again. Marina, let's see. I don't. 80. Sally Joe, Clarence, Scorpio 8763. Pardon me, please. Kathleen K. Travel Tarot. Selective advertising. Kathleen Davis. I don't want to repeat names here. Let's see. Joni, Shiva, Roz. We have so many wonderful people here today. Dragon Rising, 11. Gee.
Wow. Well, we
Oh,
will.
who says they love that cat? I'm assuming you mean my little Siamese Sasha.
Have
Thank you.
you
Joyce
seen
Petrus. Hi, Joyce. Yes.
have you seen, Siamese try to speak human? Have you noticed?
Oh, yes.
Have
She's my
you
5th Siamese I've had since I was 11.
have you seen Merv the cat?
Yes, I have.
Murph the cat has taken the world by storm, and it's because Merv the cat tries to talk.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Merv the cat has a boyfriend.
Really?
Have you seen this?
I haven't seen that part. No.
What's funny about him is that his wife said, bring a box, I found a cat. And he was a struggling actor, and he said, no, there's no more room in my heart for love, and now he's of course, what always happens, he became obsessed with the cat. The cat took him out of his depression, but not only that, but the cat made him famous.
Ooh, what you say? Ooh, that you only man. Ooh, chasing the real love. What you say? Oh, that you only need.
So this is just some of what he does.
I know that expression from Sasha.
But listen to how this cat talks. Can you see this?
Merv, your bath is ready. Merv, you're stinky. It's been weeks. Smell your toe beans. Okay, Merv, I'm closing the door and counting to 2. 1, 2. It's time for your bath. Merv, Charles is coming. He's gonna be here in like 5 minutes. Merv, take your bath. Merv, your bath is ready. Merv, you're stinky. It's been weeks. Smell your toe beans.
So the cat actually talks. It's just so dang funny. So it just goes to show, these animals save our lives as much as we save them.
Siamese don't just talk. They also listen, and they understand a lot more than they're willing to let us know. But there was one time Sasha was being particularly destructive around here, running around and knocking things over, and knocked a lamp over. And I took her and I looked her in the eye and I said, oh, here you are, Sasha. She's down here below. And I looked her in the eye and I said, you know what? You and I share this home together. And I expect you to act more respectfully around your home. Well, anyway, she quieted down and she, for the rest of the evening, became very respectful and she left things alone. So I know she did you hear that? She understood.
Oh my God. So have you heard this news? Wendy Bird?
No, I didn't hear that. Wendy Bird, an 8.0 earthquake just hit off the coast of Russia. I did not hear that. And I was watching the news right up until about 4 o'clock our time Pacific. This must have just happened.
Do you think the creator is trying to tell Russia something, that they have so lost this war?
I've heard that before. Whenever we have an earthquake out here in California, my friends back east go, oh, this is a message to you in Los Angeles that you need to straighten out your ways and stuff. And so I don't know if that's
Actors
really the
straighten
case.
out their ways. Come on now.
Yeah, exactly. But,
they're born to be mischievous. That's why we love them, right?
But I guess it could be interpreted that way, or it could be just a coincidental thing. The earth moved. But an 8.0 is a pretty strong message, I guess. You can't deny that. I just hope the people are okay. I don't know what region. I know off the coast of Russia, but I don't know if it was a populous area. I hope and pray everyone's all right.
Yeah, I mean, we'll keep paying attention to that as the news comes in. Of course, the big news has to do with all of this crazy stuff that has been going on with Donald Trump and Epstein.
What do you think again, huh?
Well, it's only getting worse. And we talked about the remote view showing he'd be out in 5 months.
Yes,
I
by
think
the end
this
of
guy,
December.
what do you think's going to happen? Do you think he can keep this up? Because I mean, they're ready to, with pitchforks, to take him out of the White House. MAGA has turned.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, he's getting increasingly desperate. You know, he's resorting to his bag of tricks, his bag of distractions. You know, he's pulling out all the classics. You know, conspiracy theories about Obama and Hillary Clinton. Today he brought up something about Beyonce and how Kamala Harris had paid her to give a campaign endorsement. Let's put cane sugar back in Coca-Cola. Let's take away Rosie's citizenship. He's desperate, but it's not working anymore because he's done this too many times. We're all on to him, and it's starting to look real. Well, certainly in my opinion, very pathetic. Yeah, he knows. He's desperately trying to anything to take away from the Epstein list and the fact that he is probably listed quite a bit in there.
So what do you think of the fact that she wants immunity for speaking to Congress?
Well, that is very interesting. That now I saw a news bulletin today. Congressional leaders are still saying there's no way they're going to do this, but we know this can change. But yeah, that's her condition for testifying, that she be granted clemency. Or I think she's lobbying for an out-and-out pardon from Trump. But I don't know that it's really in Trump's best interest, because, you know, usually when he hands out pardons like toilet paper, but it's usually people who help him in some way, make him look better, help to appeal to his base. I can't help but think that giving her a pardon is just going to call more attention to his own guilt here. So I don't know if he's going to do that, but she's certainly trying for it. But she's certainly trying to get some type of clemency. Otherwise, she's saying she's going to plead the fifth. And, you know, she could just sit there and do that, you know, and give no information. I don't know, Whimsy, what are your own feelings on this? Do you feel that I feel like she's playing a game here, like she's purposely taunting Trump? You know, like, I got stuff on you.
Because the truth of the matter is, and I think she's also gone to the Supreme Court. The truth of the matter, the last thing in the world he wants is for her to testify with immunity and tell them everything. Because
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
He had a great time with Epstein. He raped multiple people with Epstein. He went just like he was probably doing orgies with Roger Stone. Roger Stone got his. When I remember doing a remote view with Roger Stone where he talked about having some cards in his back pocket, and well, I won't play this right now. I'll play that. You know dang well he was having orgies, men and women.
Yeah.
He was open about it. He actually talked about it.
Yeah.
You know, he was openly marching at the gay pride in New York.
Yeah.
So, of course he filmed it. It was a gentleman's agreement.
Yes.
It was a gentleman's agreement.
Well, it's generally accepted that there is tons of video, tons of pictures, all kinds of statements from victims. I mean, and these statements in their own came from victims who gave further lists. You know, so there is plenty of stuff here for him to be afraid of. But, you know, it's something Joyce Petrus here just pointed out, and I was going to say it myself. Ghislaine has perjured her own self in her trial. She's, you know, as Joyce just said here, she is a known liar. So just how reputable is her testimony going to be anyway? Even if she has clemency.
I mean, let's also understand that this is the bottom of the barrel when it comes to humanity. And this is why I don't believe in aristocracies, because the problem with classism is that you begin to believe that your fellow human beings are less human than you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that you know, she actually talked to her friends, you know, degrading terms about the children that she was raping, as if you're in a position to be judging kids that are out on the streets who were being molested, which is, you know, Virginia Guilfoyle said she had already been molested. She was on the street. So this girl had already suffered. She's trying to get her act together. She's got a job. Thank God. She's looking at going to school to study massage, and they kidnap and, you know, they molest her. They lure her out there under false pretenses.
Sure.
So did you hear anything about what Trump said today, where he basically talked about, you know, I never had the opportunity to go to the
wasn't that in Scotland on his latest golf course? He made some statements. I'm trying to, think, what did he say? I mean, I'm paraphrasing it horribly, but he was just continuing to claim, oh, this is all being blown out of proportion. I don't really focus that much attention on the Epstein list. And then he went on to say, well, this is something that was cooked up by Biden and Obama and the Democrats, his usual spiel. I know he said that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. What else did he say? I know he has not had a very warm welcome in Scotland.
Well, he said basically that he was upset that his people, we've got the best spa, my Mar-a-Lago has the best spa, and he was taking people out of my spa. So he looked at it as, you're hiring people. This is how fruitcakey he is.
Yeah.
Hiring people you're taking them from my spa. Don't poach my employees and take them over to your massage.
Yeah.
How freaking senile is this guy?
Well, it's just that far from quieting all this speculation about his involvement with Epstein, this seems to just further confirm that he knows he's in the files. He knows there's something bad about him, and it just makes him look all the more desperate in the way he's trying to spin all of this.
So Sally Jo Haxby says, does Murdoch have the list from Epstein too? He is going after Trump hard. I agree. What do you think, Chuck? I think he does.
I think Murdoch wants to bring him down because I think, my own intuitive feeling is that Murdoch sees Trump as a old man way past his prime and no more use to him. So he's just throwing him under the bus, much like Trump traditionally throws people under the bus. But I don't think he has any value to Murdoch anymore. Remember, I said this a week or two ago about the grocery store tabloids. Murdoch owns the National Enquirer. And certainly during the first Trump administration, not that I read those papers, but you see them when you're in the checkout line, right. All those headlines just making Trump sound like he was Jesus Christ walking on water.
Right.
Yeah. And so it's quite an about face.
What do we got here from Scorpio?
Scorpio 8763. Yes, I heard that Trump also said that he knew about Epstein using his spa girls, and that's why he ended the relationship. And the second time he did it, I said that was it. So he knew about it all along. Yeah, I really think this just called further attention. He knows he's in these files. He knows there's really bad stuff.
I'm trying to get this so that everybody can see you and me. Wow.
Okay.
And I'll do this stop sharing so that people can see that. So this is something that you had wanted to talk a little bit about, which was the Katie Couric interview. We talk a little bit about this?
Yeah. Anybody who subscribes to Katie Couric's channel on YouTube, she does some really good interviews. And one of our mutual friends sent me a video. I think she sent it to you also, where she was interviewing a woman named Jess Michaels, who is one of the survivors. I hate to use that word victim ever, but yeah, victim survivor of being raped by Jeffrey Epstein. And at the time, I think this was back around 1991. She was 22 years old at the time, by her own admission, quite naive, wide-eyed, eager. She was a dancer, professional dancer, but she had studied massage. And I forget how it was booked, but Jeffrey Epstein booked her under the pretense that she was to give him a massage. And he said, oh, I like to have dancers do massages because they're very familiar with the body and all the muscles in the back and so forth. So that seemed plausible to her. And she got raped by Jeffrey. And she's been she's a very eloquent woman. She speaks beautifully about the situation. I shouldn't say beautifully, but she speaks well of the circumstances and how a person is affected by rape, how it stays with you. It scars you for the rest of your life. This happened to her back in 1991, and she is still dealing with the trauma of this. And she's now fighting for the rights of other rape victims, particularly people who were victimized by Jeffrey Epstein.
Let's listen to a little bit of Jess Michaels, her interview with Katie Couric.
or then end trajectory after our career, after we retire from our career to get into massage or some kind of a wellness work. And
or physical therapy of some kind, I imagine.
Definitely. So she's telling me all about how this man is not only paying her to train her, but taking her all over the world on his plane. And she says, yeah, we fly over to Europe. I'm there for a week and I do 2 or 3 massages. Then I have the rest of the time to myself. He knows I'm a dancer. I can audition anytime I want. And if I have a dance contract, he's okay with it. I mean, it's the dream job. And so I'm jealous. Like I think, wow, she's landed the perfect opportunity for a professional dancer in New York City. So for 2 months, I'm hearing all about Jeffrey.
So this brings up the whole issue of grooming and the fact that he actually got like her roommate, Christina, to go and bring him girls.
Yeah.
And how does that happen psychologically, do you think?
I think she just said it herself. On the surface, it sounds like a dream job. You're this kid, 22, and here's this big celebrity who wants you to give them a massage. It's like I told you, a very good friend of mine got lured by Harvey Weinstein once. She's an actress. She was here in LA, and it was under the pretense of coming up to his hotel room to read a scene for a movie, to audition. Well, she goes up and he comes out of the bathroom naked, tried to rape her, and she fought him off and got away. And this was years before the national scandal broke out. But she told me about this. But she's a very smart woman, my friend, but she was lured into the trap. And I'm sure that's what happened to her.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a horrible situation. It's a horrible situation to be in.
Yeah.
So he hired underage girls, and that's the thing that is so tone deaf about Donald Trump, that he wasn't upset that minors were being taken from the spa and going off with Epstein, and that he knew very well what Epstein's reputation was. He was upset that he was working hey, don't take my employees.
Yeah.
Then he did it a second time, and then I wouldn't let him in there.
Yeah. Well,
no mention of the fact that, God.
No. Well, we know this is a man with zero empathy or compassion. That's well known about Donald Trump. But you're right. He wasn't even addressing the fact of how immoral this was, how damaging this was. Underage girls, how just utterly immoral. To me, that in itself were red flags. His callousness. That's the Golden Age Muse. Epstein's Black Book has been published, and journalists called every single person in that book. I wasn't aware of this. Were you, Whimsy?
Well, he knew a lot of people from fundraisers and charity events and all, I don't think everybody there was raping people, I don't think Hillary Clinton or Naomi Campbell was off, though Naomi Campbell is kind of, whatever out there, but I don't think that just because he had these people's phone numbers, they were involved in rape or anything like that. Right.
So that shouldn't be an automatic assumption.
So you look at someone like Maxwell, who was supplying girls, but he was paying other people to supply him with girls. So then Maxwell can turn around and say, well, Christina was supplying girls. This person was supplying girls.
Sure.
So why aren't they being prosecuted?
Yeah. Like that makes it right.
Virginia Guilfoyle maybe was supplying girls. So why don't you prosecute them? At what point do you go from being the victim to the victimizer?
I want to say never.
At what point does Maxwell go from being in love with this guy to supplying and then participating in everything else? Like, how sick do you have to be? Because I don't care if I was in love with somebody like that, I would have a breakdown, shut down, and I would leave.
Well, any decent person would. Any decent person, it's like what you just said. How sick do you have to be? How low do you have to go? That's why when you asked me that question, I was like, I was just thinking along those lines, how low would you have to sink? And what is the lowest of the low? You know, I did my own reading on Ghislaine just in the last few days, because I must say I'm ashamed that I did not know more in the last 2 weeks we've been talking about her on the show,
Right,
about Ghislaine.
right.
She is a despicable human being. You know,
Yes,
usually we
yes.
talk about men in this context, you know, with grooming, child, you know, abusing young children sexually and so forth. Well, here it's a woman. It's a woman. And I hope she doesn't get off easily. Joyce Petrus just said he keeps contradicting himself. Yes, he does. He can't keep his story straight. Well, that's so true. You know, that's the thing we're taught back in grade school. If you tell lies, you've got to keep on top of the lies. You just tell the truth. It's so much easier. Trump doesn't even know where to begin to tell the truth. He's such a pathological
I don't
liar.
think he can come back from just I mean, like a normal person. I'm so shocked at the stuff that came out of his mouth today. Hey, don't poach my employee.
Yeah.
Where is, I mean, my God, that's what you have to say to children being raped? Don't poach my employees?
Says everything about his character.
Me.
Lack of character, I should say.
No, it's all about him. Hey,
Yeah.
I lost an employee. It's not
Yeah.
a child's been lured. Psychopath.
Well, that's what we've known about Trump. He's a textbook narcissist, a sociopath. His niece, Mary Trump, who's a clinical psychologist, talks about this all the time on her show, that he's only about himself. And Mary Trump also says that he takes great delight in hurting other people. He literally takes delight in it. Okay, Sally Joe said, in 91, 92, I was acting as a safe house for the police and was asked to take in 2 12 to 13-year-old girls to act as a safe place until they could go to court. The day they were supposed to arrive, I was told it was the Epstein Trump affair, and they never came to me, for they disappeared. Family had one girl, the other was never seen again. Many stories I have heard since then, but no way to prove it was them. Oh my. This is so beyond tragic. It's tawdry. It's the lowest of the low.
I don't even know where to go with this. It's just so sick.
It is. That's just it. It's so sick. You know, today when I was, you know, because I always do research before we do our show together, and I was just reading about some of this, and I just feel creepy that energetically it was so creepy to read about it, and just beyond disgusting. Beyond. JR. Other co-conspirators are Sarah Kellen, Adriana Ross, Leslie Groff, Nadia Marcinkova. By the way, Nadia is missing, and Jean-Luc Brunel was found dead in a France prison.
Jesus.
Wonder what happened to them.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What the hell is happening to our world? Was this always going on? It's just that now, because of smartphones, the truth of just how dark the aristocrats are is finally coming out in 3D.
Well, you know, any of us who have studied history know that history just keeps repeating itself. Yes, humanity just keeps repeating these things over and over, but we are in an age where, you know, there's just a microscope on everything right now. You know, the internet, things are being watched more closely, called to attention. People are being made aware. They're being made far more savvy to all of this. I mean, those are just some theories. It was this here, Woodpile Witch, Virginia says Ghislaine was the most horrendous person. I'm not surprised by that.
And that she was worse than Epstein.
Really? Not surprised by that either. She's fully complicit.
Well, not just complicit, she participated, that she was a cruel, evil woman.
Yes.
I don't feel see, I feel sorry for her because she's like, oh, I'm in prison and I'm losing my mind.
Oh,
like,
yes. I need to get out of jail. I need a pardon. You know?
Well, I
Sorry,
think
I don't mean to make light of it.
yeah, I think that we need to wash this filth off of us. Do the empath's prayer.
Yes.
What do you say?
I think that's a good
We
idea.
need to do some praying. And
Yeah.
if anybody needs to receive a healing at this time, we would like to include you in our prayers today. Go ahead and tell us your name or the name of someone you would like us to pray for, and we will pray for them.
Yeah.
And of course, we pray for all the victims of child abuse, sexual abuse.
Yes, we do.
It's beyond evil. It makes me wonder what's wrong with us human beings that we treat each other so terribly.
Whimsy, it really is beyond evil. You're scarring somebody for the rest of their life. There's something, because victims I have known personally, I've said this before, and I'm not generalizing. I went through my own psychological abuse as a child. I know how it just stories a part of yourself. Most of the people I've ever known who had this happen to them are brilliant people who never quite succeeded in life. So always held back by this. And I thought even Jess today talked about that very well with Katie Couric. Anyway, I'm sorry, we need to move on.
Yeah, well, we knew this was going to take up most of the show because it's the fall of Trump. And Spirit said 5 months, and we're entering August next.
It's accelerating.
It's happening.
It's happening.
All right, let's bring in the empath's prayer. Be sure and tell us all those people who you wish for us to pray for, and we will pray together for their healing. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. And we would also love to blitz away. So feel free also to send us your questions. Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively as a community, we say, Amen.
Amen.
And for those people who are requesting a healing today, we pray that you and those you love receive a perfect healing in mind, body, and in spirit. And together again, we say, Amen, Amen, Amen. May all souls be healed. May all souls be healed.
Souls be healed. And by the way, I want to thank people for all your prayers and Reiki you sent to me. I was having some flu-like symptoms last week, and I want you to know it really, really made a difference. Thank you. Thank you.
When we pray for people and send healing, I can actually feel it, and I'd like to think that the people who receive it feel it. That's nice. So Brindy Dorshak writes, the original story about the end of their friendship, Trump and Epstein, was because Jeffrey cheated him out of a real estate deal. The hijacking of his employees is a new story. What do you think about that?
Well, that's just it. It's a new story. It's a new diversion. Trump is just throwing out anything he can right now. Anything. So, because I don't think he's ever mentioned that one before. And I don't know. I've heard that about the real estate deal, but did Trump ever talk about that? Or was that just something speculated in the press?
I don't know anything about that. I do know that the story of Virginia Guilfoyle has been public for quite some time. So I'm sure he knew about it. And, hey, I'm losing my employees. We got a good spa, and we train our people, and so his response isn't, oh my God, a child's been raped, he was, I guess, assaulting or touching people on site. It was all about me, my reputation, my company, my me. And that response to a child being raped or kidnapped or trafficked is very telling and very disturbing.
Extremely disturbing.
Yeah.
And extremely telling. Well, shall I read it to you? Scorpio,
Yes, please go ahead.
8763. I'd like to learn the backstory on Maxwell. Do you think Maxwell was also groomed when she was young? That's an interesting question. I don't mean she's a victim, but does anyone know her backstory? I have to say, I've never heard that. That's an interesting point. Because I often wonder, I think many of us do, what could create such a deficit in somebody's heart, in somebody's soul, to commit such callous cruelty like that, to use other people in such a destructive way. So I wonder what's in her background in that respect.
Well, she's one of 6 children. I think she's the youngest. In the remote, she talked about being the favorite of her father and possibly an inappropriate relationship.
Really? Really?
So we don't want to spread things that might not be true, but that's how it was presented in the remote state.
Yeah. I want to look more into this myself. It's a tawdry story, but I want to look into it. Woodpire Witch. Trump went with Epstein to view where Epstein would place his pool at a potential property. Trump went behind his back and bought it from under him. Sounds like Trump. That was the breakup. Well, but that was Trump stabbing Epstein in the back, it sounds like. Oh, well. Woodpire Witch, no offense to men, but they often turn heads on pubescent females. Yeah, well, unfortunately, I have to agree with you. But many men, yeah.
You like women, though. I mean,
I do. I love women.
You're Angelina Jolie.
I love women.
You would walk on broken glass.
I love women. I have the deepest
He likes, yeah.
But I mean, I have the deepest respect for women.
Did you ever know men that had weird ideas like that? And if so, how did you handle it?
I'd have to think on that. Nobody is coming to mind. I'd have to think on that.
I'm sure you would have ended a friendship.
Well, I probably would have. I mean, I can't think of offhand. Yeah, I'd have to soul search on that and think if I've ever known any man who's ever had that type of
a lot of good questions.
Yeah, it's very good questions today. Very provocative. I mean, thought-provocative questions. Web Shiva, what's missing from this conversation is the blackmail and intelligence gathering. Epstein was a perv, but other people were enabling his perversions, were doing it for more power. That is a good point. I don't know, Whimsy, do you have any feelings about that?
Well, this is how tyrants gain power, right? Is when we start saying, oh, it's okay, he's a royal, or he can do this because he's so-and-so. And we become, we are all accountable for the fact that people like this, people voted for Trump.
Yeah.
He had already been found liable for assaulting Eugene Carroll.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting point. It's almost like an aristocratic, well, it is. It's like an aristocratic thinking royalty, people above the law. And we, not to change the subject, but we've talked about this many times, like with P. Diddy, people here in Hollywood, power players who think they're above the law and they can make their own rules. It seems to be that kind of thinking. Yeah. And of course, you lived here in LA yourself. You saw it.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And I also think it is leveling out. We are seeing shifts in power. We are seeing balance. We are seeing people like this being brought down. But Sally Joe said Ivanka was a part of the reason they broke too. Now, I don't know the story there.
I know that Ivana was close friends with Ghislaine, which is sick as hell.
Yes.
I mean, these were all sick people who the rules don't apply to us. And that's just so weird to me.
Yeah. Golden Age Muse. Yes. Reported on MSNBC.
Okay.
He, as in Trump, brought it after Epstein. Trump bought for oligarch to launder money.
Crazy. Let's take a look at the cards for Jean-Luc Brunel, who was found hanging from a jail cell in France. Did he commit suicide? Yes or no? and any other information we can get on him. Let's split
Okay,
away.
first of all, I'm going to just ask this, yes or no. Did he, I got the pendulum here. Did he commit suicide? Did he commit suicide? I'm getting a no.
Oh, wow.
But I'm going to look at the cards also. Was he murdered? Was he murdered? I had kind of a... This is where I'm reluctant to answer, but I did get a yes on that. But let me see what the cards say. I don't know if my type of cards are going to give an answer there, but... Oh, fuck. Right off the top, look what jumped out of the deck. Death.
Wow.
Deprivation. Now, I don't know. I need to elaborate further. I realize that. But that card, sometimes you hear me go, ah! It's because I'm surprised myself when something jumps out of the deck here. Whimsy, we're phrasing the question, please.
Commit suicide. What happened?
Commit suicide. I did get the no on that. These are probably not the right kind of cards for this, but I mean, it's the death card jumped out, but I got the other two things that jumped out of my deck were shadow, and there's great risk, great shadow. I find it intriguing. My pendulum was so definite, like, no, he didn't commit suicide. I'm going to ask that again, even. I just wanted, did commit suicide? I'm getting no. What are you getting, Whimsy?
Well, I'm getting that Ghislaine Maxwell, who lives in France, was part of it.
Really?
A woman. They were trying to cover up information. Ghislaine might have had a murder. This woman.
That's what I'm kind of thinking. I was reluctant to say that.
And I'm like, wait a minute. Wasn't she living in France also? So,
I believe so.
Going to the dark well, going to the deep well, and the other thing is that they're saying in these cards is that he was destroyed publicly. Like he became a pariah. He was no longer the star of the show that women threw themselves because he was Jean-Luc. Instead, he became this pariah and no woman would have anything to do with him. So that was a legitimate reason for him to be depressed.
Yeah, shadow. I got that shadow card.
Yeah, so I feel like he went from being I'm Mr. Sun to I'm Mr. Snow. He became somebody that nobody. I mean, he became a pariah overnight.
I was going to say a pariah.
Goes to show how incredibly superficial and that the people that these people are. It's all about I'm beautiful, I'm rich. Don't you all want to be beautiful and rich? And then meanwhile, no one's answering your phone call. Like, who wrote Truman Capote, right? And his spawns. That the 1 minute he was the star, he was so entertaining, and the next minute nobody wanted anything.
Oh,
to do with
Did
him.
you see that miniseries?
Yeah.
Yeah, they went into great detail. There was also a play I saw here in LA. Robert Morse won a Tony for it, where he played Capote, and it was all set on the eve of when everyone started turning their backs on him, and no one would turn his phone calls because he had betrayed his swans, and he thrived on that. All the little perks he got from it and the lifestyle that accompanied that.
Yeah. So in terms of victims, what is Sybil saying here?
The numbers were thousands.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Someone said he required 3 separate massages a day. And that's a very appropriate emoji you just put there, Sybil. That ties in with what Jess was saying to Katie Couric, about the massages. She said, oh, I know I'm not the only one. I forget how she said it in the interview, but she said she speculated that this went on daily, all the time. And she also, she was asked if there were video cameras, and the time she didn't even think about it. And later it was confirmed that all these sessions were being video recorded. So that's also known about it. But anyway, JR says, the truth is, society hates women over pedos. All of the information that's popular now has always been around. America didn't care. They hated Harris more.
Yeah, they'd rather have a convicted pervert
Yeah.
who rapes children than a woman of color who is ethical and who, she should have been put into the position. The right place for her was not VP, though I was happy to see her there. The right place would have been Merrick Garland's job, and then we would not be in this situation if she
had been an extraordinary
she would have
attorney general.
taken Trump out.
Well, I think that's where her real passion was. I remember like 2 years ago, you did a reading on her, and you said she was very unhappy in the VP position. That it was like she was biding her time.
Yeah, because her purpose in life is justice. She pursues justice above all else.
Very much so.
And so what she needed to be either on the Supreme Court.
Oh, God.
Or, to have her on the Supreme Court would have been sublime, right? She would have done a great job there. Or, but the best job, what she was made for is AG. And I think whoever gets elected, whoever becomes the next president for the Democrats, I hope that they will put her in the AG position.
That would be wonderful.
I don't see her running again.
Really?
She could become the governor of California, which I think is great.
That's what I was going to ask.
I really think the place for her is AG.
Yeah, because I remember a few months ago, she said in August she was going to announce if she was going to run for governor here in California. So I'm going to be intrigued if she is going to run in that respect. Now, if she becomes governor, that would obviously tie her up for a few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I have to admit, for selfish personal reasons, I would love to have her as our governor. Well, I'd love to have had her as our president.
Yes, I think she would be arresting a lot of people. I think she would clean house, and a lot of people, both parties would probably be in a lot of trouble.
Yes. I think you have even found that in your readings in the past. Yeah, I remember that coming up once. But then I think it came up in your reading. She also has a lot of enemies because of that. People who know this about her, and they don't want her to have that kind of power. Yeah.
Sick world. We've got to fight so hard for our rights. Look at what we've accomplished. When you look at what was accomplished up until the 1970s, there was so much progress up until the time of Carter. And then 1978, everything falls apart. I mean, they tried to assassinate. They succeeded. They assassinated all of the liberals one by one. They just took out so many people.
Oh, yeah.
In the 60s, everybody got assassinated.
Yeah.
So
even look at what Trump is trying to do to Mayor Karen Bass here in Los Angeles, and what he's trying to do to Governor Newsom. Everything possible to discredit them right now.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Epstein's co-conspirator, what happened to Nadia?
Whew.
Let's try and find out.
What really happened? Not getting clear answers here. I don't know why.
Oh, I am.
You are? Okay. I'm just being honest. I'm not getting clear answers here.
Ask if she's alive. Ask if she's alive. Yes or no with the pendulum.
Okay. Is she? Whimsy, repeat her name again, please.
Is Nadia Marcinkova alive?
No.
Yeah. Take a look at
I'm
these
getting
cards.
A no.
Take a look at these cards.
Yeah. Maybe that's why my cards are so muddled. I was afraid to go there.
Man, the ocean. I feel like she got dumped in the ocean. The moon, and look at this.
Yeah.
Dead.
That's kind of
like they take her to This is like that movie or that TV show, The White Lotus, where the lady winds up drowning. This is like they shoot her and throw her body in the middle of the ocean because they're showing this guy and then the ocean, the moon, and then there she is in the grave. I think they killed her. I think she's been assassinated.
Well, I was just getting I was getting shadow, discontent, survival, but it was like yucky energy. I think it's me personally. I hate going to places like this when doing readings. But when you said get the pendulum out, that was like, no.
Grave.
No. Yeah, grave. Yeah.
They're also showing me the ocean.
That would make, I hate to say it, but that would make sense. That's
like you're going on a little boat ride.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing with the Nevada desert around Las Vegas. It is speculated there are thousands of bodies buried in the desert. Similar reasons.
Oh my God.
The ocean.
Now, I know that they periodically find skulls and things when they're out doing construction. They'll find a body. You know that's happened where they've had to stop construction because we found a skull or something?
Well, you know what called attention to that recently? It was the drought and lakes and riverbeds drying up.
Yeah.
And I think around Vegas, some kettle drums came up and there were skeletons inside the kettle drums. They had been thrown in the water,
Let me guess, they were lined with cement?
Possibly. I don't know specifically. I know that's the old gangster stereotype.
The mob
the cement shoes, throw them in the East River or something, but certainly the ocean.
That's kind of what that imagery looked like.
Yeah.
What we just looked at
I'm sure a lot of bodies get disposed that way. This is horrible. This is really dark and gruesome.
Oh, God.
Comment. Do you see Trump getting removed before 2026? Well, we have been saying that like around the end of December or so. Do you think that information? Well, Whimsy, you and I both know that energy shifts and changes.
I don't see him staying. I don't think he can stay.
I don't think he can either.
I don't think his health is going to hold out. And I don't see him staying.
But you and I both know when we do readings like this that sometimes a week or two later the energy can be a little different. The answer can vary. Someone once, I think a couple weeks ago, asked why we act so surprised when we're getting the same information. But you and I both clear our heads and we start from a neutral place when we do these readings. But I'm still feeling like the end of this year. Do you still feel that way?
Yeah.
If we had to put a timeline on this.
Mm-hmm. This is Beth.
Oh, Beth. Hi, Beth.
Hi, Beth.
She's our mutual friend. We both love her.
Yeah.
Off this subject. Yes, we need to shift some energy here. Off this subject, something fun. Can you speak to the difference between heart-centered remote viewing and astral travel? Well, this is definitely your expertise.
Well, no, you do remote viewing also.
Well, I do. I
think in astral travel, we don't really leave our body, do we? It's more like we have visions, whereas in astral travel, I think you actually take your astral body and you go places.
Well, I have had experiences with astral travel, particularly in my sleep.
Yeah, you're having a lucid dream and you astral travel.
Yeah, in fact, I've told that story many times. When I first started spirit channeling, James Dean, frankly, is one of them. And I had this vivid dream where he came to me. It was like 3 a.m. He said, "Hey, I want to see your hometown. I want to see your hometown." And it was so real. And he was just so eager. And I had this envisionment. We were holding hands and we were floating like 3 feet off the ground, kind of like flying. And we went back to my hometown in Virginia in real time, like 3:30 in the morning. It was all dark, no cars on the streets or anything. And I was showing him my high school and my home where I grew up and everything.
And he was your mentor, like he inspired you as an actor. I think we should clarify that.
Well, very much so.
Yeah.
And that, I don't know if you call that a dream or an astral travel experience, but it was prophetic because many years later, I ended up going to his hometown in Fairmount, Indiana, and I have a lot of my original artwork there, including a large lighted sign that I designed. And I also got to go to his home. I got to meet his first cousin who was raised as his brother, got to see where he grew up. And it was like he was returning the favor to me. many
Yeah,
years
I
later.
mean, the weird thing is that you had that weird connection with him,
Hmm.
and you really felt inspired by his work, and you did feel that. I mean, he inspired you as a fellow actor, and then
Very
you had
much
that
so.
astral dream, and then you wind up in his hometown painting him for the family, for the.
Yeah, it
So it was
became
very
very
bizarre.
literal. Oh, it was quite something, and
The
it
same
took a
thing
number of
happened
years.
to you. The same thing happened to you with Lucille Ball, didn't it? Did
Oh,
you start
very
having mystical? He's a medium. I think
well.
you don't talk a lot about your
Well,
mediumship.
I'm very humble about this.
I wish you wouldn't be, because you're quite
Well,
good.
I know you've been nudging me to come forward with all this.
Chuck actually channels and has relationships with
Well,
celebrities that have passed.
well,
And
Lucy's been very close to me for many years. I consider her a guardian angel, and I know she made this happen for me. I got commissioned by the woman who presently owns Lucille Ball's childhood home in Celeron, New York, which is next to Jamestown. You know, Jamestown and Celeron often get mixed up together. But I was commissioned to do paintings of the entire Ball family, you know, like her mother, her grandparents, her baby brother, and Lucy as a 9-year-old child, because she wanted these paintings to look like the family looked in 1920. A great personal expense. She restored the home from top to bottom and made it just like it looked in the 1920s. But to cut to the chase, my paintings are in the living room of Lucille Ball's childhood home now. And oh, you bet your life, Lucy made that happen for me. You bet your life. And she was with me while I was doing those paintings. And I just said to Lucy, I said, look, I just want to get out of the way here. I'm going to do my work, but I want you to channel and encode these paintings with whatever you want them to have. I want whatever messages you want for your fans or tourists. You just use me as a vessel. And so I just turned myself over. But that was one of the most joyous assignments I've ever had in my life. That was my dream job.
so did you feel Lucy's presence in your living room? Because I know sometimes she's here.
She sits in this chair. I have a chair over here she sits in. I know people out there may think I'm being a nut right
Not
now.
Not if they've worked with mediums before.
No,
So
but Lucy
have you
comes to
ever
me all the time.
can you tell the story where one time you actually were seized and your was it Judy Garland that came in and took over your body when you had an audition?
Oh, well, actually, I have two stories to tell there. One was when I was in college, and I was an art major in college, but I always wanted to be in acting. So
that's remote viewing, by the way, when you become one with the other person. So that's why I felt you could contribute.
So anyway, I sneaked over to the drama department and auditioned for all of their upcoming season. They had all the auditions at once, and it was 3 plays and 1 musical. Right. And by the way, I got callbacks for 3. But my biggest surprise, my shock, was I got called back for the musical, because I never think of myself really as a singer. But I prepared a little song, and I was standing there, and all of a sudden, this gorgeous vibrato, powerful vibrato started coming out of me. And I thought, where the hell is that coming from? Because I was like 20 years old, and it was in a wood gymnasium, so I could hear it even reverberating back. And it got me a call back for a musical. And later it was Judy going, "That was me. I was helping you out." And then another time, I'm trying to be brief here, but I was doing the play Barefoot in the Park, and it's largely 2 people on stage. And my partner and she and I were having trouble with the comedic timing of this one scene. We never could get it right. The director was frustrated with us. But the night we opened, I felt this whoosh of energy come into me. And all of a sudden, the timing, the rhythm, it was just there. And because I know Lucy so well, I knew it was Lucy timing it and giving it to me. And after we went off stage, the actress I was working with said, "Oh my God, what happened out there? I saw it happen. I saw something take over your body."
Oh my God.
And I didn't tell her.
That's heart-centered remote viewing.
Here I'm telling 10,000 people this right now. But yes, I definitely felt her coming over me and giving me what I needed. But I mean, what I do is not exclusive. Every single one of us, every one of you out there has this ability.
But I think people are
Yeah.
afraid. Like when people
Well,
see
I was
me,
afraid.
when I became Putin for 5 months, I had people wanting to do interventions because I was
Really?
like, the lights of Moscow will shine upon the entire world, and I will be hailed the true church, the
Oh,
church of Russia. And people are like, okay, that's it. No more fruit juice for you. I mean, like, because I was really getting into it. Do you know what we did in Mongolia? And as I started channeling all this Russian propaganda, and then we vaccinated, and it's like,
oh.
so
I
but
think I
it's a
like having
wonderful gift.
Lucy in me better than Putin and you, but
Well, it is my job. I am a professional.
it is your job now. But yeah, we all have this ability. You know, I that's one of the reasons I'm very humble about this. We all can do this. And I always tell this to people, even when I do readings for people, I remind people you have this in you. And I don't know if this happens to you, Whimsy, but many times when I get people asking me to do readings, they will sheepishly admit, well, you know, I do think I can do this. And I'm like, of course you can.
But we don't trust ourselves.
We
which
don't
is why,
trust.
we
I
all have
always
these
try.
gifts, but we don't trust ourselves.
Yeah, so I always try to guide people, nudge people gently, and just show them how they can do it for themselves. And I
Absolutely.
bet you do that yourself.
Yeah, I encourage when other people say, well, I kind of wish I could do what you do for a living.
Yeah.
Then do it.
Oh, look at this comment here from Geocosmic Valentine. God, we got the best
You know,
names
she's
here.
a remote. You know, she's a teaching certified in HCRV.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, anyway, OMG, exclamation point. The same thing happened to me with Tony Bennett's voice 2 weeks after he died, and I wasn't even a big Tony Bennett fan.
Well, don't
Thank
you
you
think
for
that
saying
they?
that. You know,
Don't you think?
yeah.
Don't you think that they? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh no, that's okay. That's me.
Don't you think that when they pass on, they go on to be mentors for people?
Oh, very much so. Very much so. In fact, you know, a book I recommend to people is Sonia Choquette's Ask Your Guides, because it's just a very simple book that outlines all of this and helps people understand it better. And she says in there that many, you know, because we're all equal as souls. You know, when we go to the other side, you know, you may be a big superstar here. You go to the other side, you're an equal. You know, we're all in this together. And there's souls that want to advance forward also, and they want to advance by helping us, and we can call upon them. And that's so interesting about Tony Bennett coming in. You know, I met him a couple of times. He was a lovely man. Also I saw him in concert with Lady Gaga. 89 years old. You want to talk about somebody channeling? 89 years old, and he was hitting these high notes. I closed my eyes. I thought he's singing better than he had sung 50 years earlier. How do you do that unless it's just your channeling, your genius?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Scorpio 8763, I've been trying to talk to my angels and guides and inviting them in for months, but I'm hearing nothing. What can I do? Well, my first thought right there is, and you may be doing this, forgive me, but you have to be very grounded, centered, quiet. And I think also, and Sonia Choquette points us out, that so many people think it's going to be dramatic, like Hollywood, you know, like a choir of angels and trumpets and curtains opening up. And the actuality is that when you hear a spirit talking to you, it's usually very quiet, it's very subtle, and usually they'll say things to you that are very, very simple and low key, nothing dramatic at all. And that's the best way to start training yourself. I think Sonia Choquette said, think of it like like an eyelash flickering on your cheek or a butterfly wing, something very gentle and subtle. So Scorpio 8763, I don't know if that's of any help to you.
I have a question about
yes.
I have a question I'd like to ask you about channeling.
Okay.
You've talked with a lot of celebrities who've passed over. Is there anybody that you communicated with who we would know, somebody famous who's passed over, who when you talk to them on the other side, they shocked you and they're nothing like you thought they would be?
Marilyn Monroe. And I've told this, I think I've told this before. I think you interviewed me once before I was ever a sidekick on this show. And I was telling you, you know, I don't talk to her much, but the thing that surprised me about Marilyn Monroe's energy is she's no victim. I was getting a feeling of almost like street smarts, for a better way of saying it, because, you know, our stereotypical image of Marilyn Monroe is the poor little thing, poor little victim of Hollywood, how she was destroyed. That's why it surprised me. I was getting someone who was a lot tougher than that, who really knew how to take care of herself. And then I thought that makes sense for her to have survived the way as long as she did in Hollywood. She had to be tough. She had to be a survivor. Just actors I know here in LA, you've got to be tough. You've got to have something in you to rise to the top, to stand above the people. And she had that. But I could just feel that energy. And I have a friend, very good friend in Canada, who has also channeled Marilyn. And she said, you know what? I felt the same thing. I wasn't getting that victimhood thing from her. So I don't know. I'm sure there have been a lot of other surprises, but oh yeah, there was one. I don't know if this is so shocking, but Elizabeth Taylor. This was years ago, and this was when there was a TV movie with Lindsay Lohan. And I just said, oh, Elizabeth, you must be disgusted with that TV movie and Lindsay Lohan. That was me putting judgment on it. And I got her, and I was doing the Astral Ray, and Elizabeth said, no, I helped her. And let me tell you why. Because Lindsay and I both were child stars. We both knew the perils. We both had to contend with alcohol, drugs, all of that. My heart goes out to Lindsay Lohan. I figured there's nothing I can do to stop that movie. No, I didn't want it being made, but I couldn't stop it. So I figured I might as well help. So I was channeling through Lindsay Lohan and helping her with her performance. That surprised me. But I also thought, no, isn't that gracious? That was so gracious.
It's also the right attitude. It's also the right attitude.
I love that. Yeah, I didn't know we were going to be talking about this today. I would have gotten some of my old notebooks.
Now you know why Chuck is the sidekick of this show and why he got the job, because he's so damn good at it.
Well, thank you.
Well, did you have a good time today, my
I had a good time. Are we already done with the show?
Well, it's already 6:19. I guess we're wrapping up.
I was not expecting to go in this direction, you know, because Whimsy, you know, you initially had to drag me on the show. Because I was saying, Whimsy, I can't talk about stuff like this. I can't do this. And he was like, yes, you can. Yes, you can. And look what we did today.
So, Chuck, what are you up to in the coming weeks? How do people reach you if they would like to receive a channeled reading from a loved one or an art piece or anything like that? Tell them what you do and how they can reach you.
First of all, that's my great love. It's my great humble honor to do that. But it's you see my name, Chuck Dransfield. It's just Dransfield Chuck, one word, at gmail.com. That's usually the best way to reach me.
Leave your phone number so he can call you. Some people email you and they never leave their phone number. So he wants to call you. Leave your phone number.
Yes. Oh, please do. Yeah, because invariably that comes up when we exchange emails. Well, how do I reach you? And that type of thing. But I've done several readings just in the past week, and it is just the loveliest experience. I adore being of service to others, and that's ultimate. Whimsy,
he does a great job. When I went through my divorce, you know, I went to you for help when I was going through my divorce.
Well, but you've been very good to me, Whimsy, too. It goes both ways.
We have a great relationship.
Yes, we do.
And talk about your channel. What's going on?
Well, my channel. Which channel? But no, the YouTube channel, Chuck's Captivating Chronicles. I haven't done too many new videos on there lately because I've been working on so many art projects and other things. But I do keep up with my live stream on Mondays, Chuck's Captivating Chat, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And I try to keep that show light where we just talk about old Hollywood and I Love Lucy.
I wish you would bring more of your channeling. I think who here wants to see Chuck talk more and try and channel more or bring in messages from people who have passed over that are famous in Hollywood? Well, you know, you can do the work before you go live, but we can request people like, what does Marilyn Monroe think? Or and then maybe give you some time to meditate on it. I know I would
Yeah.
love to see that.
Well,
And the other thing I want to say is that if you have a loved one who's passed over and you would like to have a painting commissioned or a sketch commissioned,
yeah.
he also channels that way and can get messages
I
to you for those who
love
passed over.
doing that because I've shown my artwork on here many times. I
Yeah.
get very, very involved, very detailed. So I spend many hours with any portrait that I do. So I always make a soul connection. You know, I'm very good at reading energy and eyes. Even if it's a photograph from 70 years ago, 100 years ago, I can read energy and eyes. So that comes through in the portrait. And almost always I get some kind of message for people.
Have you ever worked with somebody and then gotten a negative experience, like I don't like this person or anything like that?
Rarely. Usually I get a sense before I do the reading. You know, I'll get a little warning like, well, maybe our energy is not in sync here or something. But I have to say thus far, I've been lucky and that's rarely happened where I've had bad experiences. Usually it's very positive. You know, but I know it can inevitably happen when you do readings. I'm sure you've had your own experiences too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. All right. So I think that's all we have for you today. If you're trying to get in for a reading with me, you can go to Booksy, Dr. Whimsy Anderson at Booksy. I'm a naturopathic doctor. Your bag of tricks, you are a physician's assistant as well. So
Thanks to you.
medical intuitive.
You trained me.
Oh,
personally.
I helped a little. All
She's
right,
an incredible teacher. Let me tell you, she could teach me. She can teach anybody.
Oh, you're very kind. All right, everyone. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out. And we'll see you next time. Thank you so much. I think
See you
we
next
need to have
time.
more spiritual stuff. I think we need to have more of this. What we
Well,
just did.
yeah, because
and less of this horrible toxic.
because it's a lot of yucky stuff to talk
Yeah,
about.
and
We
this
were
was
both
so
feeling it.
much
I'm sure the viewers
nicer.
are feeling it.
I don't want to talk about God and spirit and channeling people that inspire us, and less about perverts that molest kids. I mean,
Thank you.
trust me, Trump is going. You know.
Yeah.
What goes around comes around. All right. Thank you, guys. We love you. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.